All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Let me just make sure you guys can hear me all good. All right, we're on. Good morning, guys. Happy Monday, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Happy Monday. Hope everyone had an amazing weekend. Ready for another week back in the markets. Another week back in trading gold. What's going on, guys? What's going on, everyone? How's everyone's weekend been? Everyone ready for another week back in the markets? Audio and video good. Awesome. Thank you, man. Welcome back, everyone. If any of you guys on YouTube are new here, welcome. My name is Aaron, also known as Aaron Trades. I've been trading for the past 7 years and mainly focused on gold futures here in the European session. So good to be back on with everyone. Before we do anything, let's just have a look at potential news for the week. Now that we're back open to back into normal markets, we've had gold have a bit of a decent push up here in Asia. A bit of a decent push up here in Asia. Where was the lows? Let me zoom out a bit. We've seen here's Asia. So we've seen, so a big liquidity grab in Asia, held 4100, and then you came down 400 plus ticks, and now you're bouncing back up already, another 200 plus ticks. So a bit of a range here on gold, which is pretty expected after we had that huge sell-off last week, which was on Friday. Friday got sold off massively, came down to all of our downside liquidity levels, which was absolutely huge. You guys who were here on Friday stream, if you guys remember on Friday, we were talking about shorting gold back down into this 4150 level and back down into this support here. So we actually took an initial loss here on gold. We took like a minus, I think we took like minus $60 here or something. We took like minus $60 here, and then had to give gold like 2 or 3 chances here on Friday. And then it ended up coming down and absolutely breaking all of the lows. And this is what we're basically talking about. We're basically talking about, a lot of people would be buying gold here, stop setting below. So we're trying to short down into where most people are trying to buy. And then you ended up having an absolutely huge sell-off. I think I took my trade like somewhere around here. And then you had an absolutely massive sell-off on gold on Friday. So we'll see what we get for today, guys. We'll do some top-down analysis. We'll prepare for the week ahead. We'll see if we get some trades here for this Monday morning. We'll have a look at some more markets as well. We'll have a look at NQ. We can have a look at some currencies as well. Before we do anything, let's just have a look at what we got coming up for the week ahead, guys. First thing I'll always do is just check, what do we have coming up this week? What days should I be aware of? What days can I expect? Maybe the markets could be range bound. Maybe we're leading up some big news. So in terms of major news, today, Monday the 17th, we do have Canadian dollar CPI. Doesn't really affect gold too much. We do have, what do we have? Tuesday, no news at all. Now on Wednesday, we do have FOMC meeting minutes. Meeting minutes on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we have non-farm employment changes. Why is that on Thursday? Non-farm employment change on Thursday. Where are we? Where's Thursday? What's the date today? 17th. So Thursday is the 20th. Yeah, so we have a US non-farm payroll on Thursday. I guess maybe because we didn't get it earlier in the month. And then on Friday, we have PMI. So quite a bit coming up this week, especially now we got the US out of the shutdown. We could be getting some pretty crazy moves in the markets. Like I say, guys, we'll have a look at gold. We'll have a look at NQ. We'll break down all markets here this morning. Friday was a great day in the markets. So we'll see what we get here today, guys. Let's have a look. Let me just get this one up here. So I think gold's going to go up to 4,100. Let's have a look. Let's do some top down here on gold, guys. Let's understand how did last week close and how could we potentially close coming into this week. So last week, you know, we had this huge push up. You know, we were looking very, very, very bullish on gold, looking like we were, you know, maybe going to come back to some all-time highs. And then on Friday, this is where everything completely turned around. Now, any of you guys who were here on Thursday's stream, if you were here on Thursday's stream, I actually said how on Friday we'd be looking for these big sells. I didn't know it'd come down this much, but Friday had a huge sell-off, and that was pretty much all based off a beautiful evening star play. Look at this absolutely beautiful evening star. You close bullish, you grab the highs bearish, you close back below key level, you retest it and sell off. That was a pretty perfect daily bias day, where on them days, you want to be absolutely making the most of these days. You guys who were on the masterclass on the weekend, this is exactly what we spoke about. You have to be able to understand your higher time frame in order to be able to get better at knowing what's going to happen on the lower time frame. And if you were able to read this evening star on Thursday and anticipated it coming into Friday, you know, there was a great short, like 1,400 ticks on the flip of the body was absolutely huge. So with Friday selling off 1,800 ticks, this weekly has now given a massive wick rejection, holding back below 4,100. So from here, if we just clean all of this up for a second, to me, it looks like we could be coming for a bit of a liquidity wick here on the weekly time frame. I would say last week's low, which is pretty much perfectly around 4,000, could be a pretty easy target coming into today. Sorry, not coming into today. Coming into this week. Coming into today, what could we see? Yeah, I guess here Friday's low looks nice. You know, you've broken back below every single level. We've grabbed all of our liquidity levels. Let's get rid of this. We've already pulled back into 4,100. So on the daily time frame, you guys asking, you know, do I think price needs to come back to 4,100? We're already doing it, to be honest. So if I look at this daily time frame, this to me looks like it should be good to see if we can push lower here already. Obviously, lower time frame may paint something different. We'll have a look here. You can kind of see 4,050 is also, hey, look at this, huge level. Huge level. Major support, broke, resistance. Now 4,050 holding as major support and already having a pretty decent bounce here on gold. So with where gold is, you know, look at this. You tag the highs, you broke the support right back higher. Thank you. This is a pretty decent bounce off this support already here on gold. Like I say, although I do believe gold's going to come lower, in terms of what do we want to react to intraday, well, could we maybe look for intraday longs before going short? Well, daily time frame looks like it's good to drop. However, intraday time frame here is closing pretty bullish. You know, you have nice support, broke it, resistance, breaking back above. So as long as this hourly closes bullish, yeah, I think maybe to come back up and retest 4,100 one more time wouldn't be too surprising. The thing is here on gold, let's say if we do come back up and retest 4,100, you're very unlikely going to do this. I think if we were going to have a bounce off 4,100, then we'll very likely come for a much steeper liquidity grab. So therefore, we could potentially be tagging much higher, back at this 4107 level. Because you have to imagine, you know, if we come up into this 4,100 and sell off like this, most people will try and short that. But what do we know gold loves to do? Gold loves to do something like this. So we could potentially take advantage of this here. Let's have a look at the 30-minute time frame here. 30 minutes breaking out pretty beautifully. So we don't want to be selling gold. No reason to sell gold just yet on an intraday time frame. Nice support, broken above. So if we hold above this, who knows? We could get some intraday London longs. Before then, you maybe get the shorts into New York session. Again, guys, although I do have a pretty bearish daily bias based off the fact that daily has closed very bearish, I still want to be as reactive as possible. Whether I wait for the shorts to come in or I look for an opportunity to intraday buy before then going short, that's up to your own risk appetite. If you do just want to wait for the fake outs and then go short, then that's also a pretty smart decision. But to me personally, here in the London session, I think we could be open to some intraday longs. The one day I couldn't trade last week, yeah, it was a big short on gold. Big short on gold. Really big short on gold. We took it in the London session. We actually got short around here on gold. got squeezed out. And then you kind of see, to be fair, on the intraday time frame, the shorts on Friday, it wasn't the easiest, to be honest. It wasn't the easiest of trades. You know, the 30-minute tagged highs, but also tagged lows. By the time you closed bearish, you know, you started wicking lows, fading, close below, wicking lows, grab lows, close bullish. Then it just kind of dropped out of nowhere. It was a pretty hard day to take. It's one of them where I just kind of had to execute and walk away, which sometimes can be the best trades. So we'll see what we get here for gold this morning, guys. We've got London open in about 15 minutes as well. The wick on the spot is not that big in situations like that. Let's have a look, man. Let me get up the spot chart here. Let's have a look. I haven't had a look at the spot chart yet, so let me just have a quick look. To be honest, I have been using just the futures chart a lot more recently. It's still important to watch, but let me see. How is the weekly chart? Yeah, that's a good spot, actually. Weekly on the currency did still close bullish. You closed bullish above 4,050, which is a big level. So that's a good spot. It is still a pretty decent wick rejection. You know, you rejected 1,500 ticks, which is still pretty big. But yeah, I agree, it's not that big of rejection. But to be honest, even looking at the currency chart, it looks pretty much the same as the futures in the sense that you'll still very likely come down and maybe have a bit of a liquidity wick into some lows. Again, the real decider this week is going to be, where are we? Here. US non-farm payroll. Why that's coming out on Thursday, I'm not too sure. I'm assuming because maybe we missed it earlier in the month and we're back off the shutdown. But yeah, this here will be a very, very big day. A very big day. So I can look at the weekly in the sense of, you know, if the daily starts closing bearish, then there is a possibility that you come in for a massive weekly wick fill. But again, I say possibility because I don't really want to worry about that too much just yet. But that's sometimes something you can see with gold. Sometimes you get them big wicks, you start closing near it, you very likely just continue filling it in. So we'll see what happens early on in the week here to decide how we're gonna, you know, maybe trade that news coming into Thursday into Friday. Took me 3 break evens to get it. Yeah. I think it took me 2 small losses to get it. It took its time, which happens. You know, it's not very often it does that, but again, that's the markets. How was everyone's week last week? How do you guys find last week? You guys make money last week? Have a break even week? Have a little bit of a losing week? I didn't take too many trades last week. How many trades did I take last week? I took 1, 2, 3 trades last week. I only took 3 trades the whole entire week last week. I was able to end up the week over 2,000, which is pretty nice. I think I traded a different account this week. But yeah, I only took 3 trades last week. So I was saying to you guys on the weekend, less is absolutely more. Less is more. We'll have a look at NQ as well, guys. Green bit tough week. Yeah, nice, Joel. Happens, man. It happens. That's the market. It never gets easy. You get easy weeks, but you also get hard weeks. I had a tough time last week. Hit personal day loss limit 3 times. Taking way less trades though. So that's my main focus. Yeah, I mean, the fact that you even have a personal day loss limit to even hit that is a massive win. Most people don't even have personal day loss limit. So the fact that you even have a personal day loss limit, regardless of if you hit it, that's amazing. You saved yourself potentially going on spiral and blowing a whole entire account. So yeah, good job, man. Good job. Break even week. Took a loss. And up 200. Nice. Break even's good, man. Break even's good, Patrick. Tough week last week. Overtraders taking a step back this week. Nice. Yep. Amazing, Nick. It's what we like to hear, man. Less is more in this game. That's what we spoke about on the weekend. Due to wanting more. Yes, again, happens as well. Like I say, guys, 1 to 2 trades a day is the absolute maximum that you need. Until you get to a level where you're comfortable with risking more, just focus on that. Nice, Jimmy. 720. Using smaller size and managing much better. $720 is fantastic, man. Absolutely fantastic. Yep, lost most trades. Came back, lost on Friday. Nice. Tough week. Yep, again, happens. That's why it's good to watch you guys, because this is part of the business. Trade space, yes, there is. If you message me on Instagram, I can send it over. Any stocks I'm logging? Yes, I do have some stocks. I have just taken out a decent amount of my stock because I am buying a new investment. But yes, I do still have some stocks. I did buy Meta last week. What else did I buy last week? I bought Meta. I bought Meta around pretty much where it is now, like around 610. I have cashed out on a lot of my stocks though, to be honest. I will be watching Amazon as well. Amazon at 234, where it is right now, could be good for a potential leg higher. I'm not buying too crazy, I'll be honest. Even though there is some great opportunities right now, I'm not massively buying up stocks. I've made a very decent amount of my trading stocks this year. So to be honest, I am cashing out majority of my stocks and putting my money elsewhere. Yep. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. $80 a day across 5 accounts is 100k a year. Yep, it literally is, man. Yeah, Chris can take the credit. So I don't short stocks. I don't trade options. But there is some great opportunities out there. Let's have a look at NQ here, guys. Let's have a look. So look at this here at NQ. Wow, this is beautiful. This is like gold on Friday. Look at this. NQ came down, tagged the lows on Friday, held all the way back above 25,000, and now you're squeezing higher. This is pretty much identical to the great short we saw on gold. The great short sounds like a historical short, but the very nice short we saw on gold on Friday. It looks pretty much like this. Look at this daily time frame here on gold. Look at this daily time frame here at NQ. What is this, guys? This is an absolutely perfect morning star play, where if you start to push up from here, NQ could be on a bit of a recovery here. You guys may have had to be trading this in Asia, but obviously your bias coming in today would be very simple longs. You know, Friday came down, held 24,750, held 25,000, and also liquidated some very nice lows here, which is beautiful. Look at this. You came all the way down, tagged lows, now you're breaking back higher. So a bullish daily bias here today would have been very nice. I say would have because you've already had a great push up here. Asia's had a really, really nice push up here. Look at this. Tagged lows at the open, breaking back higher. This is a great trade. Look at this in Asia and NQ. 200 points. Took an MQ long. Nice. Let me see, Patrick. Yeah. That's literally perfect. That's an absolute perfect trade right there. Need to trade Asia more. Look at that. So you have clear targets. You have a liquidity grab. You have a breakout, an extra liquidity grab. That is a very, very, very nice trade, Patrick. That's a great trade. Oh, nice, Nico. Yes. Beautiful. Wow, some of you guys did get the NQ longs. Nice. If you guys took the long based off our plan, that is absolutely perfect. That is if that was gold right there, that would have been a perfect trade. Say it would have been a perfect trade. It is a perfect trade. That's an absolute perfect trade. We've got London open in 7 minutes here, guys. Yeah, I like the showing too small loss after I 30-minute close. Yeah, grab the lows, close the bullish. Yeah, it's a smart close, man. Smart close. There was no re-entry there either. That's a good trade, man. That's a good trade. Was in your masterclass watch your heaviest bench? I actually have no idea. Unfortunately, I would have it written down somewhere, but I generally have no idea. I have no idea, unfortunately. But yeah, the NQ is looking beautiful there, guys. So what could you see for NQ coming into the London session? I mean, I have to ask myself, is this a great trade up, regardless of if it came in my session or not? Yeah, this is literally a textbook trade. You guys who are trying to get our plan down, you know, this is a trade that you want to stick on the journal. You want to stick on the fridge. You know, we've stuck some interesting trades in the fridge this year, but this is one you really want to get there on the fridge. You had that daily bias, huge daily liquidity grab. So you're looking for longs coming into today. You have previous daily highs. You have a grab for an entry. You close all the way back above and clear targets. That is you guys who were on the masterclass on the weekend, again, this was an absolutely textbook example of that. Now, what could we see for NQ coming into London? Yes, nice, Patrick. That's what we like to hear. If you saw this trade, and you had a lot of confidence to take this trade, and you did take it and you made money, this is exactly what you want to be waiting for all of your other trades. And if sometimes you jump on the markets, it's not always going to be as clear as this. You know, sometimes it may be a little bit trickier, but if it's not sometimes jumping out at you, you know, if you wait for these trades and you maximize these trades, you're going to get absolutely fantastic returns. You could take a couple of these trades a week, if that, and be making great gains. So filter out the noise and narrow it down to get these great positions, because this is a fantastic trade. You can kind of also see as well, it's like a big inverse head and shoulders as well. There's your left shoulder, there's your head, there's your right shoulder. Now you got gold, NQ squeezing higher. So would I short NQ? No. To be honest, looking at this daily bias, I wouldn't be taking any sales here on NQ. With Friday grab and lows to Hon's ball, I'd be buying this all day long. Now, obviously, unfortunately, I don't trade Asia, so I'm unfortunately not in the longs. But I wouldn't be too surprised to see this continue squeezing higher. You know, 25,500 would be my next target here. So I would have to see a little bit of a pullback and then continue buying. In terms of the London session, I think gold will give us a nice opportunity, because gold's getting a pretty decent breakout here, guys. I think we'll leave NQ for closer to probably New York, just because you have had this great push up here already. Great push up. Yeah, gold having a great, look at this. This is a great push here on gold. Gold's up about 200 ticks here in the last hour. So we get this breakout here in the London session. Look at this, guys. You would have had a lot of people trapped. Look at this corrective price action up. You keep creeping higher and higher. Why? Because you probably have a lot of people maybe stuck in something like this. Most people trying to short gold, you go higher and higher and higher and higher. That's why gold is not the markets to fight. We want to wait for that higher time frame closure, which is the London Open in 3 minutes. If we can handle to sit on our hands for 3 minutes, we're going to get the London Open, we're going to get that higher time frame closure, and we're going to get the confirmation volume. Now we can take our trade. Chipotle, I've never had a look at that stock, to be honest, man. I have never had a look. I've never had a look. Took long off the 3 AM candle Morningstar. On gold, 3 AM. This one. Did you take this long? This long here, man? Yeah. The only thing with taking the longs on gold would just be that daily close. It was very bearish. But you know, hey man, it was worth a shot. You probably could have managed pretty quickly as well. As soon as you start waking highs, you probably could have been closing at break even. I would also look at this as a nice double bottom here as well. You know, you can kind of see here, you kind of start to form this trend line. So if anything, you want to be looking to short down into that. But I can see what you mean, man. I can see what you mean. You could take longs from here. If it doesn't work, you know, you start forming resistance and grabbing highs. You kind of have to remember in the back of your mind, okay, cool, Friday closed very bearish, so my overall bias is short. That's why sometimes, you know, I say to you guys, if you have your daily bias, just stick to it. I can be more neutral because I'm happy to flip my bias at any point. I don't really care too much. But for you guys who are trying to get the confidence down, you know, rather than trying to buy and sell all the time, you could have your daily bias and you can wait for it to come in and then you can just take a trade. Because if you take this long up and it doesn't work, you know, remember this long is just a pullback to get this overall position, because that's the overall move that you want to be getting today. Why? Because your daily bias is so bearish. So if you take the longs, that's fine. But if you do take the longs, like me here today, if I do take the longs, I'm going to be remembering this is the overall move I want to be getting today. Why? Because look how bearish Friday closed. That's right. Look how Friday closed so bearish. That's the only thing there. Is you can take these longs up here off this nice support level, but just keep in the back of your mind, your overall bias is short based off Friday's close. Therefore, you want to be reacting to, as soon as it finds resistance, you have to be open to it, flipping it right back. We got London open in 2 minutes here, guys. Gold's getting a great breakout. A big 4-hour breakout. Big hourly breakout coming as well. So if you get a little bit of a pullback, you may see if you can take gold higher. You know, as long as you hold now back above 40.82, we may see gold back into 4100. Which, how big is this range? This is about 100 tick range. Pretty nice. How low of a time frame do you go to decide your entry? Great question. The lowest I'll go is the 5 minute. That's the lowest I'll go. I don't go lower than the 5 minute. I have taken a 1 minute trade a handful of times, but it's not really my personality or style personally. be honest, I honestly love 30-minute and 15 closures. Yeah, increase the mic volume. Definitely. Hello. Should be a bit better, man. Should be a bit better. So yeah, we got London Open in 20 seconds ago. We're getting a very nice hourly breakout here on gold. I wouldn't have bought this candle because, you know, you've tagged highs, you've been breaking out, you have nice downside targets. I wouldn't have bought here. But now that we are closing back above, that's our confirmation of bullishness. Now it could be time to potentially take our long. Yeah, it's better now. Cool. Cool. All right, we got London opening, guys. Let's have a look. So, decent breakout here on gold. You know, this hourly has just pushed up with a 250 tick bullish candle. So, if we can get a bit of a liquidity wick here, maybe tag some 15 lows, I would like to see if we can take this high here on gold. Back up into this 1495 level and potentially back up into this 4,110 level. If I'm going to get long here, though, I do want to see a bit of a liquidity wick. You know, like here. Come up, grab some highs, and then you sell off. Or come down, grab some lows, and then we could continue pushing higher. Let's have a look at NQ, guys. Anything else you guys are looking at as well? Doesn't have to just be gold. Feel free to send it over. We can look at some other markets. I think gold could shape up here if we can get a bit of a pullback. Look at this 5-minute run up here, guys. This is you don't see that very often on gold. That is a consecutive run up. Very, very, very nice run up. Do we have any did we have any big news over the weekend? Yeah, I agree, to be honest, Sean. Yeah, I like that, man. I like that. I honestly agree. Let's have a look with some news over the weekends. Low income Americans are near recession, putting the rest of the economy at risk. When was this? This was when was this? About 6 hours ago? 7 hours ago? Low income Americans are near recession, putting the rest of the economy at risk. This is a pretty decent run on gold. Next Fed interest rate cut could slide into 2026. Because this is two very decent moves here pre-London. This is a pretty, you know, you got gold down 370 ticks. Then you're right back up another 400. That's a pretty crazy recovery there. Look at the euro. Yeah, definitely. We can have a look at the euro, the pound. Yep. Let's have a look. We got gold. I just want to see gold have a little bit of pullback, grab some lows. Look at this. You had this consecutive push up here with no real grab. You know, you want to see like this. Wick some highs and then see if you can sell. So come down, wick some lows, and then we'll see if we can get that. Yeah, we can have a look at the euro. Absolutely. Let's have a look. We've had some pretty nice calls on the euro. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's coming into, that's the thing. Gold is coming into some big resistance levels where a pullback would make sense. Let's have a look at the euro here. How did we close last week? So again, look at this on the euro, guys. Look at this last week. Last week came down, tagged major lows, held huge support, closed bullish. So you had massive longs coupled into last week. So to me, looking at the euro here, the euro looks like you are going to continue pushing higher. You've closed back above, let's call it, where's our levels here? Where do we have this? You closed back above, here you go, 16250, which again is a very, very, very big previous resistance. Resistance broke above, support, huge push higher, support, huge push. Well, you've broken above, so to me here on the euro, this looks pretty strong. Where was that? Where was that higher? Actually, let's put the liquidity levels as here. Potential euro longs sits pretty perfectly back at that 1.17 level. 1.17. That's a pretty decent range. You can also see here, look at this, look at that 1.17 sitting perfectly with that previous high. You can kind of imagine, you know, maybe anyone who tries to trade breaks and retests, maybe looking to do something like this. Well, unfortunately, breaks and retests like that don't work. So there's very likely to come up and tag these highs. So nice thing here about the euro, for you guys who do trade it, you're already first thing here on Monday morning coming down and tagging Friday's low. So you're hitting Friday's low and finding support at our key level of 1.16250. So if you find some support here in the intraday, this to me looks good for longs. You can kind of see here in the 4-hour time frame, you broke below, you tagged lows broken right back above. So you could get some pretty decent longs here in the euro. Look at this, came down, tagged lows, closed bullish. Great buys at 7 a.m. I would look for the euro to continue pushing up. I would have no interest in trying to short this personally. That's a pretty decent grab right there. Again, you know, with the euro, if you guys don't trade it very often, it's not something I would look to sit here and scalp. It's, you know, the currency is one of the markets where, you know, you maybe take a trade off the hourly, you might hold it for 2 to 3 hours. And I'd be looking for this to come up and at least retest these highs here, which are the Asia highs, and if not, much higher. Whether or not we get the volume to push this high on a Monday, I'm not too sure. But however, an overall push this week on the euro looks pretty nice. Hi Aaron, how can I come back from a negative 1.0% loss on a 5k account? Someone here said, follow Aaron, wait till he makes a trade, and do exactly what he does and pray. That's not what we want to hear on a Monday morning. We're supposed to be getting the week started right here. But again, man, you shouldn't be thinking, how do I come back from this loss? You shouldn't be coming back from a loss. If you had a loss, well, you took a loss for a reason. It was because you took a trade that followed your plan. So you shouldn't be worrying too much about how can I make back a loss. It's just a loss. It's just a losing trade. If the risk is too much for you, which is also completely fine, that's why no one can tell you how much you should or shouldn't be risking. If risking 1% makes you kind of hesitate and doubt your whole entire plan, then simply just reduce the risk. Don't risk so much. If I take a loss here today, you know, I don't think like, oh damn, like, what do I do? How can I make it back? I just focus on the next trade. I'm always so focused on the next trade. I don't really care too much about the loss or the wins. All I really want to focus on is the now. But if you doubt yourself after you have a loss, yeah, literally, team. If you doubt yourself after a loss, then you need to make sure you have a proven, consistent plan. A plan that you have actually proven to yourself that works. Because if you're operating like a true professional, well, a professional doesn't doubt their whole entire system after they take a loss. So therefore, you may just need to build your system a little bit more and give yourself the confidence by seeing it happen more. Maybe that comes from paper trading. I mean, personally, I wouldn't even be trading a 5k account. It's just asking for trouble. But that's just me personally. I wouldn't even trade a 5k account personally. If you try and trade look at this run on gold, guys. This is huge. If you try and trade too small of account, I know 5k is not a small amount of money, but in terms of trading, it is. And you could get too trapped into the process of wanting to flip accounts, which you might make some money, but in the long run, you are almost doomed to lose the whole entire thing. Look, there's a great run here on gold, guys. Great run. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I was wondering if there was news to fuel this move up, because you have had no real pullbacks. You've just kind of broken it out here at 615 and just crazy run here on gold. Crazy run. Me personally, when I used to trade smaller accounts, like I used to trade like 2,000 to 3,000 to sometimes 4,000, I would always be stuck in the mindset of I'd be trying to flip this account like it was some sort of escape. But we have to think like a true professional. You know, is there professional traders out there trading 5k accounts? No. Is a 5k account going to teach you some stuff? Yes, absolutely. But there's more ways to learn very valuable trading lessons without risking, you know, 5,000 of your own money. So gold tagging the highs here, guys. You're going to see if you find some resistance right here to maybe even look for a potential short. This is a great push up here. If I want to, you know, be following this move here on gold, it's not here. Of course it's not here. We know it's not here, so therefore there's no reason to try and do it. There's also no reason to try and just all of a sudden sell it. If you do start breaking back below, you know, that's fine. I'll go back to my original bias of shorting gold. But this is a pretty decent push up here. And keep back the highs. Yeah, we can have a look at the. I know you asked about the pound as well. I imagine it's probably very similar to the euro. You'd probably still be looking for longs. The euro does look nicer than the pound, I'll be honest, because you can kind of see last week on the euro, on the pound, you had that nice grab previous week. You again held the support last week as well, but you also kind of held resistance. So if I was going to pick pound or the euro, I think the euro is looking much nicer. Can we trade the euro now for a long? I can't tell you what to do, man. Does it follow your entry requirements? I've given my analysis. I can't tell you when to buy and when to sell, unfortunately. I'm not a financial advisor, not going to give financial advice. If you think it's a good setup and you like the trade, you accept the risk, then that's the decision that you have to make. Hey Nathan, what's going on, man? Welcome back, man. Welcome back. What lot size do I use on gold? It depends. A bit of a mix, to be honest. I mean, I'm trying to trade mainly micros, to be honest. Sometimes I do trade here minis as well, but most time, like trades last week was trading the micros here, small micros. It depends on the risk. But with how big the moves have been on gold, I'm pretty much just try and trade micros most of the time, because these ranges are really big on gold. You know, you could trade this at micros, 460 ticks at 1 micro. Not that you're going to catch the whole entire move, but just to put into perspective how big this move is. At 1 micro is $460. That's a huge move for 1 micro. At 1 mini, that's $4,600, which is way too much size. Australian dollar. Yeah, again, let's have a look. Not as nice. To me, the Australian dollar is very messy to trade. I very rarely trade the Australian dollar. I find it so messy. You can do this for a long time. So with the Australian dollar right now, again, this is the daily time frame. Currencies, again, require a lot more patience, so I don't really trade them much anymore. But you can kind of see here. That's what you're working with right now in the Australian dollar. Even less, even here. That's what you're working with Australian dollar. So personally, I wouldn't even be watching it. Yeah, definitely, Adam. Yep, definitely. You can trade Bitcoin the exact same way, 100%. It follows the plan of the way we trade gold. Literally the exact same. You know, we had some nice shorts last week on Bitcoin off the exact same plan. You know, you had never grabbed these downside targets here. You left a perfect double bottom, and that's where we were calling shorts into that. You came all the way up, tagged some highs, broke back below, held it, and had a huge sell-off. So yeah, you can definitely trade it the same way. Again, the only thing with day trading crypto is I would assume it requires more patience. I don't really. There you go, right back down at 95,000 level that we spoke about last week as well. So yeah, you absolutely can. It follows the same liquidity principles. You know, it will move it'll move a little bit different intraday. So personally, I don't really confuse myself too much trying to watch gold and Bitcoin. I will just day trade gold, but it does follow the same principles. You know, people try and buy here, stops below. You come down and tag all them stops and come down much lower as well. You can kind of see here on the daily time frame. Look how many times you bounced off 100k without grabbing the lows. Same thing here. Look at this, same thing here. And same thing here, look at this, all-time highs. Hit the all-time highs, huge sell-off. What did you not do here? Never re-grab the lows. So you came all the way back down for them levels. Even here, look, before this huge run-up, what do? Same thing. Bitcoin's becoming much more manipulated these days. So what do? You come down, tag the lows, then you have the move. That's what we love to take. Did you tag it here as well? Look at this as well. Again, before the huge sell-off, what do? Same as the way that we trade gold. Come up, tags the highs, traps in early buys, stops out any early sellers, and then has the move. Exactly the same thing here. Stops out any early buyers, has the real move. Sorry. Yeah, any early buys, then has the move. So yeah, it does follow the same principles. London Open is 8 AM London time. London's been open for 13 minutes here. We're just watching gold around these highs. And you kind of see gold's been on a very decent run here pre-London from like 6 AM London time. Not that I would have taken this up, but this is a very consecutive run up which could be retraced at any point. No, it's a good question. Have you ever traded any grains in your life? I have never traded grains. Never, ever. No real reason as to why, but yeah, just I just never have. It's probably a market that probably moves much nicer than we think. But it's not something I've ever traded. Gold just touched the descending trend line of 15. Is that a level you would look at too? If gold's touching a trend line, that's a level to buy up into. If gold's reacting on this, that's a reason to go long. That's our trend line liquidity play. Yeah, we'll trade that one actually. When you say grab the low, is it a body or wick? Well, it's the same thing, to be honest. You know, this might be a wick rejection, but on a lower time frame, it could be a body rejection. Sorry, a body closure. So it doesn't really matter too much. It depends on what time frame you're looking at. The same as if you have like a daily wick on gold. On a lower time frame, it will be a closure above and below. So like here, like you got a body closure below, but if you zoom out, it's also a wick closure below. So it doesn't really matter too much. Ideally, if I see a wick, it makes it even nicer, because if you actually just close below, then you never really know if it's going to be a break and retest to go lower. You don't know if it's a breakout. And the way you determine that is by waiting for closures back above. So here's a liquidity grab, but this was a liquidity grab body closure. So therefore, you wait for it to get back above. Then you look out on higher time frame. Maybe it was a 4 hour, let's see. Where is it? I don't know which one it was, but it'd be nice. It'd be a nice wick rejection. Cattle. I've never traded cattle. I know Coach Hoop trades it a lot. And to be fair, I've seen some very, very, very good moves on cattle. I've seen some very, very good moves. Hi Aaron, I've been watching you since a couple of years now. Amazing man, have progressed exceptionally well. That's amazing, man. Proud of you for taking out profits and understand the laws of nice, amazing man. Just let me see. And you draw the money that way. Nice, nice. That's amazing, man. That's what we like to hear. Appreciate you tuning in, man. That's fantastic. Progressing exceptionally well is absolutely amazing, man. That's what we like to hear. It's the purpose of these streams is to, you know, take trades when we get trades, but also more importantly, teach you guys the right way to trade gold and the right way to trade these markets by understanding these whole entire liquidity concepts that I'm showing you guys here. What I've just shared you guys on gold, the euro, the Bitcoin, NQ, these are all extremely valuable things that you guys have to implement into your own session, and you will get very, 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 very good moves. Anticipating for the markets as a whole to slow down. Not really, to be honest. Yeah, not really, to be honest, man. It's not. I mean, you can maybe get slower towards the end of Christmas time, but honestly, not really. I think this is like the most active month in the markets. What is that closure below, man? A closure below on a 5 minute when you just had an hourly closure closing with a 250 tick bullish candle. If you try and take a 5 minute bearish closure, every single time you have a huge move up or down, you will get squeezed out every single time. That's not to say it can't happen, but that's not the way I would trade. A 5 minute closure, a 5 minute bearish closure after a 460 tick push up, yeah, it doesn't mean anything bad. Doesn't mean much. No. Don't get too focused on the 5 minute. If you want to go short on gold, we'll wait for a higher time frame to break out. If you try and take, like I say, if you try and take this 5 minute breakout and gold just keeps doing this and it keeps pushing higher and the 30 minute continues pushing up, you're going to zoom out and go, why on earth doesn't try and take that trade? So if you want to get short on gold, well, very simple. Here's your support. If you close back below this, then you can take your short. And a closure back below this into lows is going to give you a 500 plus tick sell. So that to me looks like a much more logical trade. So me personally, no, I won't take a 5 minute trade if the higher time frame hasn't confirmed something. You know, let's say if in 10 minutes this 30 minute closes like this, well, that to me would be a much nicer trade, and that's going to give me more confidence to hold it. Because then the next 30 minute, you know, maybe it can come for a bit of a wick, and then we could potentially get the short. But don't get too focused on the 5 minute before the higher time frames confirm something. Otherwise, this could easily just find some support and continue squeezing. The high time frame is the most important part here. And that's the only ever time I'll trade the 5 minute is once I've had that closure. And so many people have stopped trading the 5 minute and been having way better results, or they'll trade the 5 minute once the higher time frame actually confirms something. Yeah, it could be anti. Yeah, it could be. Could be. It's not a bad idea. You just had an hourly close. You just had an hourly close. An hourly close of the 250 tick bullish candle. So, yeah, I guess it could make sense. You know, this candle isn't just going to rip down out of nowhere and you're not going to get the trade like that. This isn't going to happen. It's extremely unlikely. If anything, you know, this hourly will close doji like this. You then get the closure at maybe 9 a.m. Then you get shorts at 10, for example. Or if this hourly does close back below, then cool. At 10 a.m. you got great shorts. Or you can look for on 30. So whichever you would prefer. I think if you really want to, an hourly would be a pretty smart decision. You got the euro squeezing back lower here as well. How are you feeling after this success? Have you still have low vibe days? And how do I get back like an athlete? You mean like, do I still have low days in the markets? If you mean, do I still have low days in the markets? Like some days where I just jump up, I'm not really feeling it. Yeah, 100%. It's okay to not be mentally in the zone every single day. More importantly, it's how you process them days. It's very rare, but yeah, you know, some days I might jump on, I might not really be seeing too much, or I might not be just mentally there, which is completely fine. I just recognize them days. Yeah, edge subs, quick plug, yeah, nice. I just recognize them days and I'm okay with taking a step back. I'm okay with not trading every single day. You know, even last week, like I showed you guys before, like, you know, last week I only traded 1, 2, 3 days. So if I don't trade on these days, like if I don't trade on Monday and I don't trade on Thursday, like, I don't really care too much. I don't really mind. So if you have days where you just come on and you're not mentally in the zone, you know, like you said, a low vibe day, you know, that's fine. Remember, these markets are going absolutely nowhere. But if you don't accept them days and you force trades and you revenge trade and you spiral that turns into a whole bunch of blown accounts and losing days, then that's where you struggle. So recognize them things as quick as you can. Enki on a great squeeze here, guys. Enki on a great squeeze. Double scoop of the energy sub. Yes, absolutely. I'm drinking the electrolytes right now. I have electrolytes every single morning before I get caffeinated. And that's something I've always done as well. Always have electrolytes in the morning. And then we get the caffeine dose. So you got this 30 minute could shape up very nicely here, guys. This 30 minute could shape up really nicely here for us. If we close like this, we could top wick and short at 8:30 and get a great trade here. A very nice trade. I say could because anything can happen in 7 minutes. This could easily wick back above and continue pushing up. So just wait for the candle closure. You're not going to miss anything. Do you ever add contracts while you're in a trade? Yes, I do if I start small. If I start small, you know, like these trades here on Friday, I would have added into these trades, but I didn't really get an opportunity to do so, so I just closed them. Yeah, I will add into trades. Nice, drink a glass of coconut water every morning. Nice. Coconut water is good. Oh, for sure. Do you still break rules on revenge trade? 100%. I still get the urge to do them things. I still have the days where, yeah, I Friday, for example, I might give a trade 2-3 chances and it yeah, I get them days. I'm like, oh, this is hard today. Do I still make emotional decisions that I know I shouldn't be doing? 100%. But I just try and do them a lot less. And I try and set my personal day loss limits to stop myself from doing it as much as possible. Like this, I don't know why I set 5,000. This should be 500. Add an extra 0 in there. Like I will use these features here to stop that from happening as much as possible. But of course, you know, and that's why I always say to you guys, you know, I try and be as real as possible. It's like, you know, I'm not an emotional robot who doesn't feel trading emotions. Maybe I haven't got there yet, but to me, you never really get to a point of where you don't feel emotions in trading. Like I still have times in the markets where I I have the urge to want to do something I know I'm going to regret. Sometimes I will impulse of it. Sometimes it's uncontrollable. Most of the time, I'm trying to recognize it as quick as I can. And the best thing about using TopstepX here is this. This right here is the best thing you could possibly use. Same as this. You have to utilize these tools. This is really what's going to stop them urges. If you can't yet control yourself, like for me personally, like if I take a loss now, I don't really care too much. Like I don't need to lock myself out. I'll just close it and walk away. But if you guys still are fighting that impulse control, you have to use this. You have to. This is literally here. If I had this in my personal accounts, I would have saved a lot of accounts in the earlier days. You have to use your personal day loss limit. You have to know when to lock yourself out. You set your max trade limits. Like if you're not using this and you're still blowing accounts, you guys have to use it. You have to. It's not an option. You have to use it. Look at this on gold, guys. We could get a great short here in 4 minutes. Look like we could get a very nice short here. Yeah, it's a nice grab at the highs. You have a 30-minute fake out and a liquidity grab. You got shorts all the way back down to 4,050. This could be a very nice short here on gold. Yep. Let's have a look. Here's a decent look at this decent closure here, guys. There's some good volume after grabbing highs. So what do you reckon we did here? We just came up, maybe we squeezed out any early sellers, and now gold's down about 100 ticks, which is great confirmation. Again, guys, this is what we want to see. Here's our confirmation candle. Here's going to be our execution candle. But if you try to anticipate this too early, a lot of times you'll get squeezed out. So let's see if we open the top wick here in 3 minutes. I'm going to see if we get short here on gold. Potential short on gold. NQ still squeezing higher as well. Sasha, I'm not actually too sure, to be honest. I think blockers blocks you out. Whereas liquidate will just close out, I believe. I'm not actually 100% sure. Yeah, how do you combat the urge? You start to recognize and journal what are your own personal emotional triggers. What triggers you personally? Something that might trigger me might not trigger you, and vice versa. So you have to figure out what are your emotional triggers. An emotional trigger could be gold pushes 400 plus ticks before you were able to jump on. Therefore, that triggers FOMO, and that usually ends up into tilting. Therefore, moving forward, if I ever jump on the charts and gold's already moved a couple of hundred ticks and I wasn't able to get it for whatever simple reason, well, that's a probably good indication that I should walk away for a while. So you want to understand your emotional triggers as much as possible and journal them. You know, when you journal your trades, don't just write down, I lost this much money and this was the technical setup. Write down what was the emotions you were feeling. Tracking your psychology is extremely, extremely important. Yeah, 100% Tim. Knowing your personality type is huge for trading. But yeah, biggest thing Dad keeps saying to me while I'm learning from you. Yeah, it's amazing. It's the most important part. You have to know your own personal loss limits, your own psychology triggers. Because like I say, you know, I could lose $500 here today and I wouldn't really care too much. Whereas you guys, this might just be $200. You know, there's no right or wrong answer for that. But it's about what triggers you personally. How much are you comfortable with losing? So we're going to have a potential short coming up here on gold, guys. Let me get the micro chart up here. I'm going to short micros here. Micro chart here. Let's go micro chart, 5 minute. Let's have a look. Let's get rid of, this was last week's level. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of these. Where are we? Cool. Let's see. So we've got 1 minute till this 30-minute close coming in here, guys. 1 minute. Let's have a look at this 30. Yeah, 30 is looking good here. I want to see it open the top wick. At the candle closure time, good question, man. If you go down here to the settings icon, you can hear countdown to bar close. You can turn it on there. Yeah, I agree. I honestly agree, Patrick. You know, you can pick up the technicals relatively quick. You know, but what goes from inconsistent to consistent in trading isn't always knowing more technicals. For some people it might be, you know, you might not have a technical plan yet, that's fine. But for the most part, if you've been following along with the strategy for enough time, you know, yeah, it's probably rough finding that side of it. So I want to see gold open instant top wick here in this next close in the next minute, guys, and then we could potentially get short. So I'm watching for a potential short here on gold. You just had a very nice liquidity grab. You're breaking back below. So we could see a short here on gold. Again, the good thing about the shorts as opposed to the earlier longs is we're following Friday's bias. We're following that huge sell-off on Friday. And we also have Friday lows. The settings icon, yeah, it's just down here on the bottom right. Right here. That's amazing, Sean. Been getting pretty numb to the emotions of trading, which has been nice. Before, if I closed my trade at minus 15 ticks, and then it ripped 150 to my full TP, I'd have been pissed. But today, I was fairly unbothered by it, as I thought I followed my plan. Yes, that's amazing, Sean. You absolutely did follow the plan as well. You know that was a good cut, therefore there's no reason to get emotional. Because you've seen them trades more times than not. If you don't cut it there, it would have stopped you out full. So, you know you did the right thing, which is amazing. So, 30-minute close here on, guys. We just came up, we've tagged the highs, we've closed nice and bearish. We're coming for a little bit of a pullback here, so I'm going to start small here, guys, but I want to see if we can get a decent short here on gold. I'm looking for a pretty decent sell. Let me just start with 2. I'm going to risk about here. I'm looking for this 30-minute to drive much lower here. Let me just change this to ticks. I would like to add into this trade, so I'm only going to start with 2. I'd like to see if I can add into this play. Ideally, I'm looking for this 30-minute to break back bearish and come for a much deeper drive lower. You know, I'll probably manage at maybe previous 30-minute lows, but I would like to see this come much lower. So I could maybe manage at previous 30-minute lows. I want to see this come much lower. Average time I spend in a trade? Half an hour, maybe 27, which kind of makes sense. Wait for that 30-minute candle closure. 27 minutes on this account. I think my other accounts maybe 40 minutes. 27 minutes, average loss 12 minutes. This is a trade, to be honest, this isn't going to be like a scalp. This is a trade, to be honest, I would like to hold for a potentially even an hour. I want to see if this can break out and have a very decent short here. We may have to hold it even throughout the 9 AM candle. Because that 9 AM candle could still give us a top wick before then going short. So whether we manage and then get back in, we'll see. We'll see. How much is the value per tick in points in GC? So if you're trading ticks on gold, it's $10 per tick. So if you were to measure this move up here on gold, let's say if you measure from the lows to the highs, this is a 460 tick move, 46 points at 1 mini. That's $4,600. At 1 micro, $460. So 46 points, 460 ticks, because the tick moves are much nicer to measure on gold than the point moves, because this is a huge move up. You look at 40 points, it's not that, doesn't sound like that big, but 460 ticks is a great move on gold. Great move on gold. I want to see us hold below here to enter. Potentially more. Let me see if I can squeeze up a little bit. Stops there just to keep me safe. Manage any breakout of here. Yeah, I agree, Sean. It is a pretty decent level of support as well. I can see that as well, man. I agree. That's the reason I'm only going 2 micros here, guys, because this is still a decent support, which Sean just said. This is true. This is still a big level, which you haven't yet closed back below yet. So that's why I will enter in more once we actually break out. So I'm only risking like maybe $100 here. If we had closed back below, I'd be happy to risk like 3 to 4 micros. So if this candle breaks below, then I will add in more. But as Sean said, here's your support, here's your resistance. So this is kind of what we're working with until we close below. As soon as we close below, it makes a lot of sense to add into this trade. So if we get a decent breakout here, I will scale into this position. But as of right now, it requires a little bit of breathing room. My time is 8:34. We'll see if we can play this for a decent short as well. Yeah, it was an instant top wick, which is nice. So as we start hitting these lows, you know, this stop here is just to keep me safe. But to be honest, I'm mainly risking about here, $60-ish. Okay, my hard stop here is just to keep me safe. But any closure back above this 87 level would be a good cut for me. So I'm actually risking about maybe 30-ish ticks. 30-ish ticks to see if we can come down for a, you know, even back down to these levels here would be a very decent risk to reward. Very decent risk to reward. We're executing this in the 5-minute, guys. This trade is based off the higher time frame. Hourly, 15, 30. So based off all of them. The nicest time frame here is that 30-minute. You're tagging the previous 30-minute lows here, so potential management point here. If we break it, fantastic. But it's a potential management point. Bring us down a little bit now. Nice squeeze there, guys. Nice 56 ticks here. 58. Nice little 5-minute even star there. All right, who earlier said to follow along with Aaron, hope and pray? Well, there's your 50 ticks here again, guys. We're coming down to some decent support here, so it's not a bad level to be open to managing. Although I would love to see gold break this and continue squeezing lower. Again, what I would love to see and what the market's going to do are two very different things. If we break it and continue pushing, fantastic. But this is a level where we should be open to managing our trade. Especially there's no top wick on this 5. 50 ticks in, what, like 6 minutes is pretty decent. So let me just bring this here a little bit. See if we can break the support. I followed you, no need to pray. If we get a decent break of this support, guys, I will let my stop breathe and I will add into it. But this is a support where I have to manage a trade. There's also no top wick on this 5. Yeah, you should have taken the break of the lows instead, Tim. If you wanted it to push up more, that's fine. But remember, it doesn't. What we want and what can happen to very different things. So I would take the break of the low instead. So when it does break the low, you're tagged as the trade regardless. Yeah, nice trade, Bruno. Nice trade, man. Nice trade. Nice trade, man. Nice trade. Let's see if we're going to break this support, guys. We're hitting previous 30-minute lows, so this support could easily hold here. So this is why I'm managing the trade. So I wouldn't be re-entering here. This is where I'm managing because this from here could grab lows and pull back higher. So to manage here is very logical because this could be a level where you find some support below these previous 30-minute lows and you pull back is that hourly close. Remember, the previous hourly still closed bullish. Remember, guys, the previous hourly still closed with a 250 tick bullish candle. The hourly hasn't yet closed back below. Therefore, you find hourly support with a previous bullish hourly candle closure, you manage the trade. If we break it, fantastic. So if we don't drive from here, guys, and we pull back, then maybe potential re-entries at the hourly close. But we hit like close to 60 ticks there. And we tagged previous lows. So if this gets me at break even, to me it's a good break even. It's a logical place to manage. Now, it doesn't mean we can't give this a second chance. But to me, managing here makes a lot of sense. If I let this trade just come up and stop me out full, and this 30-minute does flip bullish, I would look back at that trade and I'd go, well, I should have managed that. You know, look at that hourly time frame. You still haven't yet broken out yet, so this could still wake back up. Nice, close 58 ticks. Nice, Dave. Good man. Good man. 58 ticks is a decent squeeze. Aaron is looking at fixed volume profile, order flow, footprint, bookmap, level 2 data. And just price action should be good. Yeah, if you want to, man. I mean, I'm just using price action. I use price action, liquidity levels, and high time frame closures. That is honestly it. What you guys see on my chart right here is what I use every single day. I don't have any other secret indicators with some secret screens. You can use whatever it is you want to use, though. You know, I'm not saying you can't use them other things. You know, do whatever helps you the most. But for me personally, just pure price action on gold I find to be the nicest. Yeah, as soon as if you break this support, I'm gonna add into this trade. I just need it to break this. Give us that volume, Goldie. But remember, guys, there's no right or wrong way to trade. That's why people talk badly about other strategies. That there's a million different ways to trade. There's no right or wrong way to trade. What you should be doing is finding what makes the most sense to you. And to me, it's simplicity and execution. So price action and simple liquidity grabs for me works the best. If I have more things on my charts here, I typically end up getting over confused and a little bit of analysis paralysis. The reason I like to trade simple price action is, one, it works, and two, it allows me just to focus on pure price action and just execute right what I'm seeing with liquidity grabs, which gold absolutely loves to do. So if there was an opportunity, you know, you'd be buying up into this level. There was an opportunity, but now we're looking to sell down into the liquidity levels. We've got a 15-minute close coming in 5 minutes. Yes, absolutely, Brad. Find your edge and stick to it. Keep it simple, Schubert. Yes, absolutely, man. Absolutely. You have a secret button that controls the markets under your desk. Who knows? Who knows? Always use the same size? No, it depends on the stops, depends on the risk, depends on the candle closure. If I had an hourly breakout here, I'd probably be risking a little bit more. But I haven't yet had an hourly breakout, that's why I'm trading micros. If you break this, then I'll add in more. No, I switch on my size depending on the trade, depending on the stops, depending on the setup. Like I say, if I get an hourly closure here, you know, maybe at 9 AM, you could potentially trade more size. But until I get that closure, I'm happy to go over 2. If we break out, I'll add in more. But this is still decent support. We've got 15 close coming in 3 minutes here, guys. See if this 15 is going to break the support or not. Have a look at this 15 closure. Let's see if we're going to actually break out. If we break out here, I may bring up my stop and give it a little bit of breathing room for the next 15 top wick. But let's see. Let's see. Let's see. It's only Monday morning as well, guys. Monday morning. First trade of the week. $60 ticks here on gold. Where's the volume gone, Goldie? Where's the volume? Where's the volume? Look at NQ squeezing. NQ on the great squeeze. I want to be done. I want to be done for the week. Let's get it. We need to be done for the week on a Monday morning. All right. Finally got my XFA to the magic figure of 2K. Nice. $600 win earlier today. Nice. Amazing, Brad. Amazing. Don't chase it though, man. Let it happen. Let it happen. Don't chase a dollar amount. Just let it happen. But no, it's nice work, man. Again, if you need an extra $500, trade it very small and steady. You only need five green, $150 days, man. Still in Australia or in Italy. I'm in Spain at the minute, man. I'm in Spain. Probably be back in Australia maybe mid next year. I hope mid next year. Yeah, we're in Spain for quite some time. Taking a dog back to Australia is extremely difficult, so I ain't coming back. I wish, man. It's gonna be a long process to get Sammy back, so probably not until mid next year. So I'll spend a European summer here and then head back towards maybe end of next yearish, mid to end of next year. Depending on when we can get back. If you come to the Netherlands, let me know. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. I was in the Netherlands early this year. Early this year or last year? Yeah, early this year. I think it's yeah, very cool. I'd love to come back. Definitely, absolutely. What's your look on ES? Do you look at it? I don't trade it, but I can. If you want me to look at it, I can absolutely break it down. Doesn't have to just be gold, guys. Anything you guys want me to break down, we can break it down here. 15-minute close coming in here, guys. Let me just see Goldie here. We are breaking out. It's not the most bearish of candles. You know, we do still have support here, but we're breaking out of here, which is not the worst of candle closures. Yeah, I want to go. Yeah, I definitely don't want to do a ski trip whilst I'm here. Definitely. I definitely want to do some. Spend like a month in the mountains or something pretty cool. Month in the mountains, trade in the morning and ski in the afternoon would be yeah, it would be amazing, amazing. Yeah, I'll have a look at yes though. Let me just see how this gold is going to play here. See if we break these lows. I'm looking for a potential add here on gold. But we may get an add on the hourly, to be honest. Look at that hourly, guys. This hourly could still give us a great next hourly 9 a.m. Decent top. We can still get some great shorts. Go to bed. It's 3:45 here. I'm working in 4 hours. Damn, that's crazy. Appreciate you tuning in. Take care and good night. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you tuning in. I'll see you on the one-to-one this week as well. Thank you for being here. That's dedication right there. Dedication. So remember, guys, we still haven't really broken this support yet. We're trying to break the support, but we haven't yet broken it. So once we do break it, we can add. Until then, we just want to kind of see how we're going to react to this support. But so far, we were risking about, what? We were risking about 35 ticks. We're currently up about 60-ish. So about a 1 to 2 risk reward there, which is not too bad. But to be honest, I'm trying to hold this for a much bigger play because I think these daily lows could be very nice here. If we don't push from here, the next level we could push from is back up at this resistance. I say could because we'll just react to it when it comes. But if we start breaking back above, yes, we can come into these levels before then. That would be an even nicer place to try and take the shorts. But let's see. Where am I from? I am from a very small island in the Channel Islands called Jersey, just off the UK. A very, very small island. But I've lived in Australia for the past 3 years. Old Jersey, yeah, the OG Jersey, the real Jersey. not New Jersey, the real Jersey. Here, look, this is where I'm from here. This little tiny island. There you go, look, it's basically closer to France. We're part of the UK, but it's basically closer to France. There's the UK, there's France, there's me. If I show you on a, let's have a look at gold, it's more important. Let's have a look. It's very on a map. This is where I'm from. I'm from this tiny little island, which if you zoom out on a world map, you won't even see it. So there's the UK, there's France. Here's me right here. I'm not here now, but this is where I'm from. Very, very small island. Oh, gold rebreaking the lows here. Nice. Jersey Shore. Not quite. Yeah, that was my house on top of the hill. Where is it? Where was it? Yeah, here. This is me in here, streaming right now. How long it takes to drive around the island? Not long. There's no motorways or anything like that. It's just kind of there's roads obviously, but there's no motorways. The fastest you can go in Jersey is like 30 miles an hour. Yeah, there you go. Jimmy's from Jimmy in the Zoom chat. Jimmy's from Jersey as well. Another OG. It would not. I don't know how long does it take to drive around the island, Jimmy? It's not very far. Yeah, horse and cart. Don't even have phones there. Look at this. Go get a decent breakout here, guys. Very nice squeeze here. You're up like 100 ticks here. 5-minute closure. I may see if I can add into this trade. Everyone on Jersey know each other? Yes. That's the worst part about Jersey. Everyone knows everyone. Half the island are in Discord. Do I speak French? No, I don't speak French. I mean, I speak extremely basic French, but not properly, no. This is a decent breakout here on gold, guys. If we can pull back, potential to get short. Population of 500. Oh, but let's see. I'm potentially looking to add here on gold, guys. Let's see if this 5 minute can break out. I want to see. I was about to wake up. Do I own the island? Yeah, something like that. Something like that. What do you do when the candle barely sweeps liquidity levels? Do you still consider it a liquidity sweep? It's not something I really worry about. You know, it doesn't matter how much you tag this. What's more important here is you break out. It doesn't matter if you grab this by 1 tick or you grab it by 100 ticks. The most important part is you break out. Quick little bit of pullback. I might see if I can enter in this a little bit more here, guys. Quick little bit of pullback. I want to see if I can add in here. How much of a liquidity gap you get, again, is overthinking it. If you tag the highs, you break out, that's the indication right there. But that's also why my favorite trades are buying into the liquidity levels. Because once, you know, I've taken a short out of liquidity today, but my preferred trades are trading into the liquidity. Because then whatever happens up here, I don't usually have to worry too much. I've got my trade into that level. That's my preferred trade. But it doesn't really matter too much about, yeah, if you grab it by 1 tick, you grab it by 100 ticks. What's more important is you grab it, you get a high time frame closure in your favor, which is exactly what we did here. We grabbed the highs, we had that 30 closure, we've got our short. So that's why we've taken the short on this 30-minute candle. Because you tagged highs, closed bearish, you've got your short. Oh, it's a pretty decent reaction, guys. If this closes right back above here, I may close. Because remember, there's still big support. May get another short at the hourly close. We hit about 100 ticks there, I believe. We hit about 100 ticks, I think. If we engulf like this, yeah, hit about 108 ticks there, which is a pretty decent London trade. If you all of a sudden start engulfing back above, remember, look, we did last time we broke it, huge push. Big support, big push. So if we break below and break right back above, that's the fake out that you could continue pulling back into 88. Always stay neutral here, guys. Stay neutral. Yeah, I like that, Sean. That's very nice, actually. It's very, very, very nice. Yeah, big 4-hour liquidity wick. Not much of a bottom wick. I think the big short here, the real short, it may come at 9 to 10 a.m.-ish. If you close back above here, guys, I may just close. You hit 100 ticks after risking 30, which is a pretty decent risk to reward. Risking 35, you hit about 100. If we had continued breaking, it would have been lovely, but this is still big support, guys. Still big support. Look at that 30-minute. Not yet got back below, remember. All of this is one big, huge level. Stay neutral here, guys. Stay neutral. Maybe bring it down a little bit. Looking 22. $50. I'm just gonna close that, guys. I'm gonna close that. I think we're probably gonna get maybe the short closer to potentially 9 to maybe even 10ish London time. We hit about 100 ticks, which is a pretty decent London trade, to be honest, considering how much we've already pushed. So yeah, taking it off there just, yeah, makes sense. I think we're going to get a next top wick for the next hour anyway, so. This is a pretty decent bounce off this support. And remember, the higher time frame hasn't yet actually closed below. So as soon as this 5 minute starts engulfing back above, you go back, you look at your higher time frame, you go, okay, cool, that makes sense. You know, you haven't actually broken the support yet. And that's what I say to you guys, you know, stay neutral. So I took, what, 50 ticks there? It's not too bad. $19. Would have loved to have seen this broken back lower, but it's a very logical place to manage the trade. There is also possibilities to re-enter, but I think we should wait for this hourly close. Locked in $800 on the personal. Nice, Joel. Nice. 195. Nice, nice, nice. Great trade, Aaron. Yeah, thank you, man. Nice, nice trade. Would love to see it break back low, but again, 100 ticks is 100 ticks. 370 on the practice. Nice work, man. Nice work. That's what we like to hear. Even if you take the break even, to me, it's a good trade. It's good management. Let's see how this hourly is going to close, you guys. Because if this hourly does close back below, remember, how could this next hourly look? Well, this next hourly will probably come up for a decent top wick, and then it could break back lower. So let's just wait for that to happen and take advantage of that top wick, and then get a more confirmed and a decent higher time frame closure to then get our better short. Just gonna let it ride. Yeah, if you want to let it ride, it's the hourly close. Again, it's not a bad decision. You look at the higher time frame. That's the overall trade here. If you're happy with the risk, then yeah, why not? I'll be looking for a re-entry, guys. On the hourly close. We'll stick around for this hourly close, guys. Remember, you guys on YouTube, you got D coming on right after me as well, so be sure to stick around. I'll stick around for the next like 5 to 10 minutes so we can see this hourly closure. You guys on YouTube, 800 people tuned in. Remember, drop a like for the stream as well. Subscribe to Topstep YouTube channel here. Like 10k away from 200,000 subscribers, which is amazing. And it's only Monday, guys. We got plenty of time here. Plenty of time, plenty of trades. Lows of 100 ticks in the London session is pretty good. But I think we could pull back and get a more decent short. Friday, I won't be here, unfortunately, guys. Friday, I'm heading over to London for the weekend. So we'll be streaming here Monday till Thursday this week, guys. Monday till Thursday. What do you think about the equal hourly highs at 4113? 4113. Yeah, that's also a potential target. If you start closing back above, let me go to my main chart here. If you start closing back above this resistance at 89, yeah, that's a very nice upside target before potentially getting short. But just remember, the higher time frame bias is short today on gold. Look at this daily time frame. You closed very bearish on Friday. You want to look to see if you can continue pushing this down. Yeah, I would let it close. Yeah. Oh, God, Chris, we'll be back, man. We'll be back. So yeah, there is the potential to come up into these levels up here. But for me, my daily bias is short today, so that's the overall trade that I am wanting to take. But anywhere in here now would kind of be a bit of a no trade range. You know, we hit 100 ticks in here. I don't want to get trapped in here, but if we close above, yeah, there's possibilities of buys up into 110. We close below, we got great shorts down into 32.6. So either way, wherever we break out of here now, there's possibilities for nice plays. Yeah, I can see what you mean there. Them equal highs, definitely. Because if you start doing something like this on gold, you know, if you start coming up like this, then you pull back again, more people jump in shorts, probably gives you even more of a trend line coming down, and then there's more likely to see gold do this before then, you know, doing something like this. So yeah, absolutely. Let's stay reactive for it. So let's have a look here, guys. We're gonna get this hourly closure in 2 minutes. See, hourly closure is not too bad. You know, although you're holding support, you're holding resistance, it's still a pretty decent hourly grab and a bearish closure after this consecutive bullish run. I think you might get it more so at 10. Let's see, guys. Let's see. 1 minute. Holding resistance, holding support. It's a nice. What you're trying to understand here, on gold is if this is going to be this, or it's going to be this. This is kind of a bit of a make or break level right now here on gold. That's why this next minute and a half here is very, very, very important. Very important to see if you're going to close above or below. Yep, definitely nice trend line as well. Absolutely. That's again, it's a reason to manage. You have a trend line coming up and down there. Absolutely. You have a trend line coming up. You've also got a trend line coming down. That's why I'm kind of being very reactive here. So that's why you want to kind of, again, if this 30 minute doesn't reclose what you want, then this is going to be your no trade range, and you want to wait for a breakout of here. Keep it super simple. Super simple. Hey Aaron, hey man, what are your thoughts when you get that 30-minute bearish and bullish imbalance? Do you use it as support above? Imbalance, I'm not really too sure. It's just here's resistance, here's support. You don't. There's nothing to think about. Here's your support. Here's your resistance. You haven't broken above. You haven't broken below. So wait for a candle to close above or below, and then take a trade. Keep it super simple. I obviously like the downside on gold, back down to 4,050 and much lower. But until you close above or below, you kind of want to let it do its thing. Hourly close here, guys. So hourly close is still closing pretty bearish. So I do still like these. I do still like these shorts. You tag the highs, you've closed bearish. I do still like these shorts, but the lower time frame. Look here in the 15-minute tag lows, close bullish. You're still holding support here. I think even if you're going to get the short on this hourly, you probably want to see how you maybe react at some previous 15 highs. So this would probably be my no trade range from here to here. If you close above this level around 86, then there's potential longs into the highs. If you close below the support, then you have a much nicer downside range to play. So YouTube guys, I will wrap up there. Good short here this morning. We hit about 100 ticks, which is pretty nice. But for now, I'm probably going to wait for at least this 30-minute or hourly candle to close to confirm a little bit more volume. You guys have my downside liquidity levels and upside liquidity levels. So I do prefer downside today, just given how bearish Friday closed. But remember, guys, stay as neutral as possible and stay very, very reactive. So good short here this morning, guys. Good management. Good exit. There is potential re-entries here, but I'm probably going to walk away, let the 30-minute candle close, and then see what we got. So remember, guys, you've got D coming on right after me as well. I appreciate you guys being here. We'll be live again, same time tomorrow. So I will see you guys then. Trade safe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.